Hi Virgo, welcome to your X spread. What I'm doing here is a specialty read, very popular in my private readings, in addition to the astrology that I do, and I haven't done one of these in a very long time for you guys, so figured I would do it now in between things. Because I know a lot of us are left with questions, or a lot of you guys are left with questions having to do with relationships, right? People who are still in your energetic field that you're not with, doesn't matter when you were with them, right? Because energy doesn't understand all of that, doesn't understand time. So it could have been last month, last week, last month, last year, a few years ago, you know, it doesn't matter. So we're first going to pull some cards to understand their blocks. This is a subjective read, guys, so trigger warning, warning you up front. This is going to be from their perspective, from the perspective of those dealing with a Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. So you want to understand it as such. It doesn't mean that it's true, because you could be sitting there like, hell no, that's not what happened. All right, but see if you can at least understand things from their perspective, or at least understand where they're challenged. So here and now, this is their challenge right now, Virgo. Here and now, they're having a hard time staying in the present and really addressing what's like most important right now in the moment. They're having a hard time doing that. So this, to me, I always get a very scattered vibe from somebody who's in that space, if that's their block. So we have Pluto, transformation, communication. We have Gemini as the second house. These are all their blocks. 8th house. All right, so check it out. I feel like the person that you're dealing with, they're having a very hard time understanding how to correct something and how to change something, and they're focusing on all the wrong things. The 8th house energy is a we energy. It's how we show up in partnership. It has to do with our partner's money. So they might have an issue with the amount of money that you make, or sharing their money with you. Anything like that. It doesn't have to be that, though, because the 8th house is also intimacy, deep intimacy, sharing intimacy, sharing communication, sharing connection. You know, it's that Scorpio is the landlord there. So it's about things that sort of lie underneath the surface as well, things that are very crucial, important to the foundation of a relationship, and how we show up combined, you know, to be a we energy versus a me energy. But because they're feeling very blocked there, and they're not open to learning something new or looking at something from a new perspective, and they're very challenged in their ability to communicate about this. So they really, I mean, that typically is rooted in insecurity and vulnerability, and it could be dressed up in egotism, it could be dressed up in deflection and gaslighting, it could be dressed up in a bunch of things. But the bottom line is, this is what their block is. Their block is being able to transform something, right? I mean, that's what this energy is. This is about, Pluto is about allowing the big changes, in order for there to be a rebirth of something, in order for there to be a transformation. But it's like they have no idea at all how to communicate regarding this. And they're not staying still enough for long enough mentally to really give this the thought that's actually really necessary. They're not letting them, oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's not funny. It's validating that here and now, I'm saying scattered, their block here, one of their challenges is actually healing. See, Chiron's the wounded warrior, right? The wounded healer comes in to heal us. This is about healing powers. This is about making amends. This is about releasing something from the past. They don't want to be totally honest with themselves about something from their past, is what I'm getting here, Virgo. I mean, this is pretty clear. The level of self-doubt that they experience is blocking them. So it's getting in the way of healing, which is very sad, because right now Chiron is still retrograde for another couple of weeks until the middle of December. And we all have in Chiron and Aries, and we all have, wherever it is in our chart, we have the opportunity to such a higher degree than we typically do to heal ourselves from something that's gone on in the past. But this is blocking them. They're not, again, totally obvious to me, they are not staying mentally still long enough to actually give something the thought that's required in order to transform and heal something. It's like they're thinking about everything but. We have the Father of Cups. Now the Father of Cups, this is the King of Cups energy. This is their block. So they're being blocked on how to be supportive, blocked on how to be tolerant, blocked on being able to feel empathy towards what you may have experienced in the relationship because of an issue that came up between the two of you. They just can't see it. They can't see it right now. Wow. Okay, they can't see it. They can't see. When you have Pluto as your block, that's tough, because Pluto is about digging up the underneath and bringing it up to the top, right? So that we can look at it and then communicate about it and heal it together. And this person can't do it because they're just scattered right now. That's what's going on with them. So let's get a read for their past, where they're at now, and how they see this connection ending up. Totally subjective, okay? Keep that in mind. I'm going to pull all the cards after that to see in reality. Okay. With the card of pain to start out with. Betrayal. So, let me just say something. I mean, all right. Sorry, just want to get my thoughts together for a second, because we have a card of pain here. I mean, that's what this is, right? This is Saturn and Libra energy. And this could have to do certainly with some sort of heartbreak. It could be divorce, loss, depression, anything like that, right? But this pain here, and there are many different ways that we can hurt each other, right? But there's definitely, they were feeling this pain, this betrayal. They were feeling betrayed by you. Okay, and then we have the Two of Cups energy. So this can indicate, the Two of Cups can be like, there may have been, now let me do one read first. There may have been a situation that was very painful for them, and you guys broke up, and then you got back together, and you realized, okay, look, like, you know, proposing the idea of you guys really trying to give it another go. Okay, for many of you, it can be that. But then the moon energy, them not really telling you everything, Virgo. Them not telling, like, you guys maybe got back together and you had this conversation, but there were things that they were holding underneath their hat. And that's very much the moon energy. Unseen issues, unseen problems, things that you couldn't see that they knew about, right? And you getting into the space of, but see, at this, okay, intuition definitely was playing a role here. They were following their intuition and being secretive and not being fully disclosing something, because they were afraid of how it would end up, you would end up reacting to it. So them not being fully open about how it is that they feel, you know, but at the same time, definitely still having some fire in their belly for you, because this is about, while this is about keeping and maintaining boundaries, it is also about being persistent, right? Because this is a moon in Sagittarius, it's more moon energy. So the moon is what they feel underneath the surface. Sagittarius is about moving forward, right? With integrity. So it's like they may have been holding back a secret or something that they never shared with you, that they were just either too embarrassed, too ashamed, something like this, where they didn't want to share it with you. Now, that's one read. Another way is there was definitely a third-party situation, some sort of pain going on here, and they made the decision to end it, to start a new relationship, and they were in a space of not wanting to acknowledge how they were feeling about you, even though they still had feelings for you. So that would be relevant for many of you who experienced that there was that breakup. They decided to join up with somebody else, get into another relationship. But they're definitely being secretive here, and there's absolutely still emotion left in them for you. There's no question. Right now, where are they at? They're at the Five of Wands energy. Five of Wands is often experienced within ourselves. You know, battle of the wills is how I like to say it, right? Saturn in Leo. And whenever Saturn is in anything, it tends to pull out the darker manifestation of that sign. And for Leo, that would be egotism. So they're very, very deeply entrenched in their ego right now. Okay, for sure. There's no question, you know. And this is about feeling a sense of like rivalry. Some of you may even feel rivalry, but it's definitely about obstacles. They feel this block. They feel this block, and their ego is damaged. They feel these obstacles with you. Now, very interesting here, though, they're feeling the Four of Cups energy. Four of Cups is an energy of apathy, feeling very, very unfulfilled, right? So regarding your connection, they feel unfulfilled. But this is the thing. They're not looking at themselves. So this is like, cannot even really be fully put on you. I mean, not that anything should be fully put on anybody. I suppose there are certain circumstances where that wouldn't be the case. But here, they have this checklist running in their head. Okay, and this checklist reads like this. Because Virgo does A, B, and C, I will never be happy with them. Because Virgo does this, this, and this, they're not capable of being in a relationship with me. You hear what I'm saying? It's like them identifying all of these things, right, within you. The truth of the matter is, even if the world's perfect person, no such thing exists, but the perfect person for them were to come up to them, they would not recognize it. Because the truth is two things. One, they're not as ready for the level relationship that they think they're ready for. And number two, and moreover, is the fact that that's probably because they haven't healed some sort of pain, scar, something. And we go back to Chiron, because Chiron helps us heal our past. So there's something very deep, very visceral in them that's impacting the way they do relationship that needs healing. Whether it was that they never saw their parents have a decent connection, or maybe they saw a lot of arguing and never any reconciliation. There could, it could have been a nasty past relationship that scarred them in some way. It doesn't really matter. It's just that there's this deflection of blame with the Four of Cups energy, and it's an immature energy where it's like, I don't want to look at myself, so I'm going to blame them kind of thing. It's why in a lot of the cards, well, she doesn't look terribly young, but in most of the cards, the character on the Four of Cups is like an 8-year-old kid, It's because there's a level of immaturity about it. Right, but yet we have this 10 of Pentacles, and here comes the confusion, because in their mind, in their emotions, is this desire for family contentment, is this desire, right, to leave a legacy, to deepen a commitment. There's concern here about the legacy that they leave in the world, maybe getting married or having a family or anything like that. They're sort of in this space of concern about this. But you have to remember with the 10 of Pentacles too, it's about maturity. So it's about maturity of something. Okay, so they could be very focused on their money right now. For many, it could be that. But focusing on the culmination, the growth of something, the arrival of something. So you may be dealing with somebody who is very sort of in the space of, how do I explain this? Very much wanting to have this beautiful, committed, connected, family-like energy with you. And they want it. But they can't see their role in why this is not working. They can't see it right now. They're not understanding that there are deeper things at play on their side, if that makes sense. They're not seeing it. And then we have the Judgment energy. And the Judgment is all about clarity, right? Them finally having clarity. Making a final decision. Having an absolute wake-up call to something in this connection. So whether it's this connection or just in general, the energy that you're dealing with is absolutely experiencing a huge wake-up call. So I would not be surprised, I just want to say this, get this out there, if you're dealing with somebody who has strong Sagittarius in their chart. The Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, even stronger, would be Sagittarius South Node, if you know this person's chart. It's very much a feeling I'm getting here, because Sagittarius is the South Node of the Moon right now, and they are being pushed to make some changes in their belief system. So we do have the judgment energy as well. Judgment energy is also them looking back at the relationship and saying to themselves, I did the best I knew how. But understanding that everybody did the best that they knew how. You know, and there is this healing in all of that. But it's definitely a wake-up call. There's definitely some sort of wake-up call. Now, where do they see the relationship ending? So right now, the way they see it, Ten of Swords is still a minor arcana. It's not like a permanent energy. None of the energies are permanent. But right now, they see it as being done. Complete and painful ending. That the relationship hit the absolute rock bottom. That's how they see the relationship. But then we have it working with the Two of Swords. And they know they need to make a decision. They know they need to make a decision. They know they need to compromise. Now, the thing with the Ten of Swords is, it had to end the way it was because it wasn't making sense anymore the way it was, because it's Mercury in Virgo, right? And that's important to understand because Virgo is the problem solver of the zodiac, right? And Mercury is all about communication, and it's about, Mercury rules Virgo as well. Virgo is also about our health, mental, physical, and emotional, having to do with our relationships and stuff. So it just came to bear. It was like, the relationship just wasn't healthy. It just wasn't healthy. There were things that just weren't working as it was. So now they realize like that either compromise has to be made or some sort of decision needs to be made regarding this. Like it's done, it's done. I have to energetically cut them off, or I have to figure out another way around it. But I feel like the person you're dealing with, I don't know, I get a very sort of like a little bit of a cold vibe. I mean, the King of Swords is a cool energy in that it's very strategic, right? But it's all about the mental, right? Staying in that air energy and not allowing any like the emotional cup energy to slip in. So no emotions, all like in their mind, they're just going to be like, that's where they're going to see it. They're just going to be like, this is what I have to do for this, this, and this, right? But they're going to be battling with themselves because then we have the Four of Swords energy. Four of Swords, this is Jupiter and Libra. Again, Jupiter expands whatever it's in. And Libra is the landlord of the 7th house of partnerships, ruled by Venus. So this is about pressing the pause button. They see this relationship in an absolute pause so that there could be, if there is to be, any sort of renewal, any sort of recovery. But it's not like you're just on a pause. There needs to be consideration about how could this relationship be brought to the point of expansion? How could you guys finally work it out? So it's like not throwing the baby out with the bathwater kind of energy. They're going to be in the space of recognizing the good stuff in the relationship, but also needing to look at the bad and saying, if this were to ever work, what needs to be done? And there needs to be this very sort of practical approach, because I don't see there being an issue with the feelings here, but there was a lot of pain. So right now they see something is done, it's over, and they're being very practical about it. And you know, in their mind, they're making this decision, and they're in the space of realizing, like, if anything were to work, like what would have to change. What would have to be different? We got the Hermit energy, was just peeking out at me at the bottom of this deck. Normally I put it down right. So the Hermit energy does indicate going it alone for right now. You know, for right now. Because they're very blocked. You know, and again, I'm not making it all about them, right? Because I do feel that they're too energy. But I want you to look at this card a little more closely. Do you see here it says past and then future? And they're right in the middle. They're having a hard time. This is their block. So they're very wrapped up in the past and what happened. And they're very scattered and thinking about the future and all their day-to-day. But they don't want to just stop and drop in the moment and say, all right, really, what needs to be healed? Like, what needs to be healed here? They can't do it. They can't bring themselves to be like tolerant and empathetic, supportive of a situation. They can't do it because it would require looking at themselves more deeply, and that's not comfortable for any of us. And I'm not saying that maybe you don't need to do that as well, but I'm getting that they need to do it. right? Okay, so these are some oracles. I'm pulling some love oracles for the connection. So it's not only them to you. Now we're expanding the parameters here of the reading, and we're going to include both of your energies just to see what is energetically what's taking place between the two of you. With these cards, will you look at these cards? They just don't know what they want to do. Okay, guys, as I always say, there could be many things true at once. It is part of the human condition. And the sooner, we all realize that, the more relationships in general in our life will make sense. Okay, absolutely. Okay, so we have self-indulgence. Focusing on self-worth, right? Didn't I say this? They were very focused on themselves. Focus on self-worth, time to heal, shadow work, self-appreciation. Then we have date, meeting someone new, dating, getting back out there. Okay? So they may be meeting somebody new. Listen, I mean, often what ends up happening with these things, you have to understand, there gets to a point where sometimes people feel like they need to go on the dates to bridge their energy away from somebody, right? You understand that. And then we have mirror each other, self-image, a relationship. Relationships reflect our wounds, introspection. So now I feel like somebody's starting to wake up here. Hold on a second. So they go, because I'm getting here, it's like self-indulgence. I don't need them. I'm going to focus on myself. I don't like how they make me feel, whatever. I'm going to go out with somebody else. And that doesn't go so well. So then they become very introspective. And we have this cassette energy, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over and over in the head. Now, this is where I feel like that always precedes Chiron energy. It's like these things just come flooding back at us and we start thinking about things. And then we have healing heart. Healing heart from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships or addictions. So they're very focused on trying to heal themselves, okay? Healing from something here. Now, again, this could be you as well, right? This could be you healing from this. This could be you going out on a date, because this is not only for them. I'm sorry, I should have prefaced it with that. But being very focused on kind of initially taking care of self, but then there being this sort of recursive energy where you can't help but being pulled back into the energy of this relationship. So here we have, I don't know if I can ever be exactly who you expect me to be. Conflict is a necessary step in the growth process. Be patient. This will pass. I love you, but I'm afraid to lose my freedom. I don't know how to balance this. This relationship makes me feel bad about myself. You're too hard on me. You've been in my dreams. Okay. So, when we get energies like this, a lot of times it is this idea of somebody feeling like they're not enough, and then feeling like somebody is trying to control them and make them a way that they're not. And in that, there can be a challenge to somebody feeling free within a relationship, just free within themselves. So that is the energy that I'm getting there. The Lenormand here, we have the labyrinth energy, which is about trying different strategies. This is a lot of rumination going on here. I feel like it's very connected to the cassette energy here in the Allentown Wellness. It's like, let me try this. No, let me try this. No, really trying to escape, very much what's necessary. But then we have some wisdom coming in. So this could be either from somebody older speaking to you, an energetic message coming in from the other side, but there's this wisdom about this. Now, this labyrinth energy could certainly be indicative of your relationship, where you guys keep getting back together and you keep trying to figure it out, and you end up at a dead end every time that you try. But finally, this wisdom is coming in, and then we have the Mars man. I'm calling him the Mars man because you see the glyphs around his neck. And what's interesting here is we have with Venus. So we have Mars and Venus here together. And I want you to notice, what direction are they both looking in? They're both looking forward. So they're both looking into the future. And then we have in the middle, We have the messenger energy, which is all about a new cycle, recognizing cycles. There's ups, there's downs, but some sort of message is coming in, some sort of communication is going to be coming in. And then we have what's going to be focused on. Mars is all about a fresh path and a new perspective. And Venus is about what's fair and love and what's equitable and handling things in a fair way. Let's pull 4 cards to get the final outcome of this relationship. I feel like there's like not yet though. I don't know if I feel like there's not yet though. Listen to me. Okay. Yeah. Final energy about how this person feels about Virgo. How does Virgo's ex feel about them? That's a marriage card. That's about them wanting to conform, to come together with you. Hierophant is a Taurus energy. I mean, it's just very, down to earth. Taurus is ruled by Venus. It's about the 5 senses. It's about foundation. It's an earth energy. It's the youngest earth energy. We have first here, we have the 5 of Wands in the reverse. 5 of Wands in reverse is about harmony and success and problems being resolved. Once those problems are resolved, though, there's going to be some conflicts. Right now, this does not mean that the relationship is going to end as soon as it begins. I mean, it can, I suppose, for some of you, but that's not how I'm really getting it. This, I feel like this tower is going to have to do with the internal thinking of how somebody handles something. Somebody's processing, okay? The way somebody's thinking has to change. It's got to be updated. The lights are on. Everybody sees what's going on. There's got to be, you can't think like that anymore. Not you, them, whoever, right? I mean, however you guys need, but somebody is thinking in a way, perspective needs to be adjusted here. There's no question. And then we have the judgment energy, which is about clarity, final decision, and a wake-up call that the purpose is for you guys to be together. We have this working with the 10 of Pentacles energy, which is about everything I mentioned before, right? We had this 10 of Pentacles, which is just about deepening of commitment, communication. There's a sense of maturity about this. So this does indicate to me the relationship maturing, to a point that is better than what it was, okay? And in that maturity, there needs to be a deepening of communication, and the communication needs to be about why was somebody feeling unfulfilled in this connection? What was the issue exactly? And this is about talking about those things, those unresolved issues, those early childhood memories, those things lingering that were getting in the way of somebody being able to be really successful in relationship, and Virgo, dare I say, like this person, I do have to say, the fact that we get the Hierophant with the 10 of Pentacles, like this person, it's like not you. Like I feel like, and I'm not saying that because I'm speaking to you. I'm saying that because I feel like the issues that this person has in relationships are independent of you. Not to say that you're an angel and you do everything right. I'm not saying that. But like they would have these issues with whomever, right? Doesn't matter who they were in a relationship with. These things would be a problem for them. But it does seem like there's a connection between the two of you that's pushing them to want to fix something. And they very much want this sort of family connection, this legacy with you, this life with you. Wow, heavy reading. Yeah, my friends, that is what I have. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me. See you next time. Bye-bye.